and Tasty Cakes podcast. I'm Bert Lepore. He's Sammy Monte Carlo. We're hanging here with Angry Mike D, and we talk about music, movies, and so much more.
We're back. Another episode of Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes, episode 139. We're here today with singer and guitar player from As We Become Ghosts, Mickey Ratt.
Yeah, what's going on, Mick?
Good to have you.
What's up, Mick?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
They got a big headlining show at the Landis Theater, which is a great venue in Vineland, New Jersey. That's October 14th.
Yeah,
you can get your tickets online. If you follow the guys on Facebook, you'll be sure to see it. If you haven't seen it, then you're blinder than
you're not on Facebook.
Stevie Wonder. Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook.
Then you ain't seen it.
Yeah.
It was at etix.com. Is that what it is, Mick?
etix.com, yeah.
Yeah. So it's www.etix.com. You can get the tickets.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah, we have links all over our page, and so
Yep.
One up.
Yep. I'll post a link also on the bottom saying where you can get the tickets when we post it. And so you guys haven't been on. Well, you haven't been on here in a while, a couple months at least.
Yeah,
maybe a year or so.
It might be that.
Yeah, it's probably close to a year. Yeah,
about a year and a half, I think.
Wow.
I think it was right before. Actually, I think it might have been before the show we played together over at Union Firehouse.
Yeah, the record release show. Yeah.
So probably right about that.
Yeah. So you guys had a pretty good 2023. Some real solid gigs. You guys played with that. Well, your release party was great. We were happy to be a part of that. And you guys opened for Heaven's Edge at Artie's, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And Dane, you got an Artie's question for him?
Yeah. Artie's, that was I know they do have shows inside, but you guys played outside, which I think they do a lot of their shows in the summertime outside. How was it playing outside as compared to an indoor gig? Much
that Artie's is a really good place, and the inside can sound a little bit weird sometimes unless it's packed with bodies. It can sound a little weird with the way it's configured, the stage is configured and the way the ceiling is. But that outside stage was absolutely awesome. I mean, the sound was great. The vibe was great. There was plenty of room on the stage, and we were double drum set up in front of Heaven's Edge, and still had plenty of room to move around. And it was nice. It was done well, and it was put together well.
That's a good venue.
Yeah, it was nice, man.
Cool, Mike D.
Yeah, dude, I don't think we asked you the last time you were on here, but how did you come up with your name?
Ooh, all right. Well.
If it's a secret, man, you don't.
No, As We Become Ghosts is actually it's all encompassing, really, because it's really funny because we use this as a joke all the time, like as we become whatever, when we just say it, you know what I mean? Like we have this joke where we're all standing in line next to each other, and Stefan has a little teeny little soul patch, right. And then it goes to Johnny, who has a goatee. And then it comes to me, who has the Amish beard. And then it goes to Alex, who has the beard and mustache. Yeah. And it says, As We Become Beards. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Right. But what it's actually all about is how in the world we're becoming ghosts to see each other, right? So you got a political divide that separates us, and we become ghosts to each other. You have the opioid epidemic with fentanyl that a lot of us are just dying off and becoming ghosts. We're becoming ghosts to the way that we used to do things. In the generation of the wokeness, we're becoming ghosts. Social media is causing us to become ghosts.
Yep.
We're just little snapshots in time is what we are right now, but the deep connection of things we've lost. Relationships. Relationships. It could be you met your soulmate, and 3 years later you're perfect ghost to each other.
Yeah.
It's all encompassing. So we can use it to mean anything. It doesn't. That's why I felt the name was like such a good name.
I like it. It's kind of like
Yeah, it is.
simple and kind of like deep at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially
And-
how you explain it that way too.
Yeah.
And our name, I think, I think our name hurts us at the same time when we're trying to be a local rock band and gain a following, because people hear As We Become Ghosts and they start thinking about like these guys are like really super heavy. They see the image with the Reaper and the this and that. And we're the opposite of that. You know what I mean? We're heavy, but like we have like a good message,
Yeah.
And in our lyrics, we write about things that like people relate to. And I think people don't really give us a chance. We had a guy at one of our very first shows. He was about to get up and leave. And because he saw us coming up on stage all dressed in black and the banner with the Reaper on it and stuff. And he's like, As We Become Ghosts, no. And we started going into the song Echoes, which is really super poppy. And he sat his ass back down in the seat and said, he goes, I didn't move the whole time. You gained a new fan. Like, I totally did not expect that. So, and that's what we usually get. And we want to keep going with it because we want to finally get over that hump where people understand and they start like paying attention and listening.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's great. I love the meaning of that. I mean, I always
cool.
I thought, the saying As We Become Ghosts itself, I think it's great because that's what do we do? Where do we go? After you're here, you're fucking out of here, you ghost somebody or you're ghosted or you're, you become a spiritual entity or whatever the deal is. I think it's a terrific name. Because
it's a powerful name.
People might look at it as a heavy name, but if you think about it, it could be anything. Like you said, it could be anything. We all become ghosts, no matter what you are, right? Eventually, that's what happens. So, So I think a lot of people that don't get it, it's just, listen, imagery sometimes and what it is, sometimes it's good when it contradicts itself a little bit. You know?
Yeah, Johnny Cash wore all black. He wasn't having that. Also.
There you go.
There you go. So, man. So I love the name. I think the name's great. I really do. And the meaning is even better, So I'm glad we asked that question. That's good. I'm glad we asked that question today. Okay, so here we go, Mick. This is for you personally. Hardest song As We Become Ghost song for you to play live and sing, or what's the hardest one for you to do? That's the toughest one for you to do personally live.
Wow, that's a good question. They're all pretty tough when you first start them, but the more you get to know them, the more you play them, the easier it becomes. But that's a really hard call. I would like to say This Moment, which is our piano song. And the reason being is, we use that as a backing track, right? So I recorded it in the studio and I used to bring the keyboards and play it live, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're playing places and you got 4 or 5 bands up and you're like, where do I put this keyboard? We need a separate microphone stand. And now we need a DUI, a DI, jack and everything else. And the sound man's like freaking out. So I was like, why don't we just put it on a backing track, throw it back there? We all play to a click track anyway, and, Johnny fires it off, man. And I get to play rhythm guitar during it and fatten it up a little bit,
Yeah, that's a good move. That's the right move to do.
But the click track with the backing track, with trying to keep the feel of the somewhat power ballad, I think that would probably be about the hardest one.
Yeah. No, that's a good choice. And like you said, yeah. I mean, for one song to bring in all that stuff, there's so much you got to do.
We talked about this the other night.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
And you know what? There's been a lot of controversy when people hear the word tracks or backing tracks. They think Milli Vanilli. They think your lip sync. They think like all your vocals and all your backing vocals are like all fake and everything else, and you're not really performing it live. We have what's just called our tracks, right?
Yeah.
So we have that piano as a track, as opposed to bringing a piano, trying to find a place to set it up and do all the things I just talked about. You run one line back to our drummer and he just handles it. Yeah. And it's taken care of, right?
Yep.
So we have little embellishment things, or we have like little intro tracks or things like that make the song sound interesting or sound like they do in the studio without really cheating. We're not like we're not
Same thing we do.
backtracking everything and lip syncing to it, you know?
Yeah, and we're dabbling with that right now, and you know,
Yeah, you
we're
guys
dabbling
played
with
the
it.
other night and it sounded great, by the way.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
really happy I got there.
But yeah, like I was saying that we yeah, because we had that discussion even with ourselves, saying that do we bring in a keyboard player, do we do this, or do we just, you know, I don't know. We went back and forth for months with it, and it's just like it's only in a spot or two. We love doing the intro stuff because, like you said, it makes it interesting, makes it more like a show instead of just five guys playing, you know.
Yeah, it creates a vibe, you know,
a
song
vibe.
intros
Yeah.
and stuff, and that, you know, ambiance and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
I like all that
for
stuff,
the
so I'm a
song.
fan of all that. So
you guys pulled it off really good the other night, you know, and after I'd heard that new track, you know what I mean, a few months back, I was like, this is awesome, man. I dig the keyboards in it. This is killer, you know, and I'm like, I wonder how they're going to do it live. I wonder if they're going to like throw some tracks in or what they're going to do. So it was cool, like that you guys threw that in there and ran some tracks and stuff. Like, I mean, what would Evanescence do? What would Disturbed do? You know, if they showed up at a venue and they were like, sorry, you can't use any tracks. It's plug and play. You know, it's like, what? It's like, it's part of our songs. You know what I mean? We use it as an instrument. We use it as part of our sound.
Yeah.
It's not like a cheating thing. It's just, you know, it's an embellishment to make sure that you're putting on, you know, quality sounding show.
Yeah, and at this stage, this is what everybody. At this stage, this is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like I guess a lot of bands would do it because it was. Damien was saying Ghost. Initially, Ghost would have, I guess, singers with backing tracks because they couldn't afford to have all them people out on. You know,
they actually do though. Yeah,
now they do, but because they can afford it.
I've seen them a couple times and they're amazing. Yeah.
I don't even.
You're right.
For the keyboards, I don't even know any keyboard players.
Right.
We only know a few, and we all know the same few.
Yeah.
And they're very busy.
Yeah. So I'm all right with all that. Like you said, the track stuff, as long as your main stuff's all live and they're just embellishments, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Fuck it. You know. Then again, listen, we're all artists. If somebody don't like it, fuck them. Here's the thing. You do what you do.
And I agree with that 100%. But here's the other side of that coin is like, you know, it's not really that fucking easy to play with a click track and
at all.
Use all that stuff, because if one thing goes wrong, that whole train goes off the rails, man. Right.
Yep.
So like, you got to be a professional to be able to do that. You know, you got bands like Shinedown, a bunch of bands who use a lot of tracks and a lot of stuff to keep that fatness and all that stuff going, like their albums. Right. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to do that, you know, on a consistent level every night. You know, it takes a professional to do that. And that's what we've been working at over the last like year or two, is being that professional, is trying to reach that professional level, you know, and it's hard to do when you're going to like smaller clubs in the area and they're like, tracks, get that out of here.
The guy don't even know,
that. Just plug into that other guy's amp that you've never used before.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why it's good that you guys do a lot of your, you know, a lot of gigs that you guys do. It's mostly built on you guys doing it, so you could kind of handle it and have a little more control over it, and you know what you're getting into, which is great. Like you said, you know, say Damon's not a double bass guy, but like, you know, say back in the day when you used to show up at a gig and you know somebody's headlining and you're opening for them and you're playing on this monster. Like you use 3 drums. This guy's using 25, which is fine, but it throws your whole thing off, right? I would think.
It does. It does. It's different, you know. I always felt for drummers when they have to do that, you know. And so like it's a good thing you're talking about. So now we do what we've been trying to do is tailor gigs to ourselves, do event shows, right? Like it's our event. So we get to, you know, kind of use our stuff. And you know, that doesn't mean we're not like gear sharing with the other bands and doing whatever we can to make everything smooth for them. But we're saying like, we finally get to use our in-ear monitors that we paid thousands of dollars for our split rack system. So we were able to do that every club is like, no, you can't. But it's also important that we can do it with or without. The night of that record release, you saw how long we were up on that stage trying to sound check, and he still hadn't plugged any of our stuff in.
Yeah.
By the end, we were just like,
you were just going for
it. We'll do it live. You know what I mean? We had to just completely switch gears and do it without any of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we tailored our show at Artie's. We knew we were only going to have a half hour. So we came in like 32 minutes, and we told the promoter and the venue, we told him, and he said 32 is fine, man. Everybody's going to go over a minute or two. It's no big deal. And we tailored that show to have no click tracks, no backing tracks, no nothing. And we tailored the set specifically for that show. And now here we are, we got to flip all that around and completely tailor something completely different for the show at the Landis, and
yep.
we got like 3 rehearsals left, man. You know what I mean? So we're coming in hot.
Yeah.
We're coming in hot.
No, it's good, dude. No, I love that you explained all that stuff, because it's true. Listen, unless you do, especially on a local level like us, and if you don't do them little extras, you just blend in the crowd sometimes. You know what I mean? Look, there's 1,000 in our area. There's so many damn good musicians and really good bands. But like I said, after anybody, including ourselves, after the 3rd song, you hear stuff gets lost. I don't care how good you are. It gets lost. You got to have something to bring them back in. That's why sometimes somebody will throw a cover song in the middle of the set. Not that they want to do a cover song, but it throws them back in. It goes, hey, they're still here. Oh, okay.
Right.
It's the little tricks that I guess you learn through the years,
Yeah.
And
that's
it's good.
That's the hard part. It's like, especially when you're not doing any, you're not doing any covers or anything like that. You're doing originals, and it's like, we all think about it. You guys think about it every time you're together in your rehearsal, and you're talking over the set, and you're talking about things, and why don't we put this song here, because this will keep the excitement and the building, and then drop it down, and then like build it back up.
Yeah,
like a
there's an art to
show.
it. There's definitely an art to the, the way set list is important. There's an art to. I mean, one, you got to deal with the tuning. You got to deal with this. Something sounds similar to another song. You got to separate it. There's that little that just we all think about, but the common person's not thinking that,
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you, in their shoes,
like, why would you let's try and open up with this song. Be like, this song's so fast and so going. The sound guy is not getting a shot to even get in there yet. So you don't want to blast the sound guy from the beginning. We're already through it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And our drummer, Johnny, he's like, we've done that too. It's like, why don't we start it out with like Light It Up, and just come in hot, and it's like, he's like, I need something just like to get my blood pressure right. You know what I mean? Let's walk in soft, guy. You know what I mean? Let's be powerful, but like, let's get something that we can all get in the click, get our groove, get moving. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
there's an art to that. There's an absolute art to that. Because if you just go blam from the beginning, you want to come out with a pop, but at the same time, there's got to be a pace there. Otherwise, no matter who you are, you run out of gas, right? It's just, it's a good pacing and a listening pacing at the same time. We'll write some ballady stuff type, but it's hard to play a ballad in a set sometimes, unless it's a long set that you have, because you're playing 40 minutes. It's hard to get a ballad in there sometimes, because sometimes people don't pay attention, no matter how good it is, So that's always something we always talk about, keep it fast, but at the same time, eventually you have to mix it up more,
Right.
But okay, Mike D, you got a question for Mickey?
Yeah, man. Like, it seems like these days, like all these venues are kind of like closing up, and there's not, a whole bunch of new ones are around. Like, is there any venues that like you wish were still around, like that you either would want to play in or never played in?
Well, tons of them, tons of them. And like, I mean, even the fate of like the Union Firehouse, is kind of questionable right now. You know what I mean? What they're doing, who's promoting, what's going on there. It's like, do you want to put your eggs in that basket at certain places as well? But like, there's not a lot of like really cool, bigger places around that like, offer what we do. It's all tribute bands or cover bands and so on and so forth. So with that, I wish all the old clubs were still here. Like the Galaxies and the Bonnie's Rocks and like, Empire Rock Club and like all those big places that you could do this and people showed up to see this.
Right.
It's not even just the clubs. I mean, they closed down just because they can't keep they can't keep the bills paid. And that doesn't even have to do with just like the bands or the entertainment playing there. It's just like, it's about how do those clubs get people out to see the shows.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if they can't, they eventually go by the wayside. And it's just a shame that us as like original music, right, it's such a struggle, to like, especially when you get a great opportunity to play in an amazing big place, and you're just like begging people almost to like buy a ticket, because you don't want to squander this big opportunity, right? And then you see like tribute bands playing those same places, and you're bringing 400 or 500 people.
Crazy, yeah.
Because like people want to go see something, and they're okay with spending that money to see something that reminds them of their youth or something that they're already familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I have nothing against tribute bands, especially when they're really good and they do it right. I mean, Land of Oz, amazing. You know what I mean? You close your eyes or keep them open, and you still feel like you're at an Ozzy show. You know, and I get it, but the point is like, if there's not an avenue for original, like local music, right, and there's not an industry anymore for that original local music to become something greater than that, and then just a local artist, we're all going to be tribute bands paying tribute to like all the bands from the past, and there won't be any like new exciting music to pay tribute to anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point you bring up, because just in this area, and I mentioned this to someone the other day, just in this area, I think there's 3 or 4 Van Halen tribute bands.
Yeah.
And all in the Ozzy family, Ozzy, Dio, Sabbath. There's got to be about 4 or 5, and I think there's like 2 or 3 Iron Maiden bands. Like there's a bunch of tribute bands all around, but they all do tribute to like 3 or 4 different bands. It's like, come on, guys. Right. How about I don't know.
And not taking anything away from them, Damien.
Right?
Because,
yeah, absolutely not.
Most of them are really, really good.
They're great.
Yeah, I mean, we love Stephen Desco and all
great,
of his like, he does the Land of Oz, he does the Live Evil, he does really good Ronnie James Dio as well. Mm-hmm. All of his players are freaking amazing, and they do it right. You know what I mean? But then you're right, there's just band after band after band trying to go for like the same thing, and that kind of that upsets the really, really good tribute bands too. You know what I mean? It's like,
what? Like, if I played it in a Sabbath tribute band or Ozzy tribute band, I would, in this area alone, I would be pissed knowing that there's like 2 or 3 other ones playing the same circuit, because how many gigs at the Landis Theater are you going to get? Right. Because maybe the other band plays there. Like, so where are you going to play? You're just kind of like,
it gets watered down a little bit. It gets watered down a bit. Yeah.
But speaking of Stephen Desco real quick, for the Land of Oz, he really digs us, man. He's always in contact with me, and he's always trying to help me and help us as a band, promote and do things and stuff. And like, he's got a show there October 7th at the Landis. And he's like, man, you got to be there in street team like you've been doing with all the other places. Yeah. We'll give away a couple free tickets on stage. He's really good guy, and he tries to help out like local, like original as well, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, what would be a cool thing that maybe they could do, and I know the cover guys and the original guys are weird mixing stuff up, but you have a band like Land of Oz or another big cover band, and you have an original open up for them. Like,
yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
Mix it up a little bit so you get the best of both.
Bert, not
tribute band. I'm sorry, tribute
not like bands that are doing Run Around Sue and shit.
Right. Tribute.
Yeah, they're hitting like Run Around Sue to like Smells Like Teen Spirit and like the same set. And it's
not that. Like a tribute.
Like a tribute. Like, in other words, say Van Halen Nation's playing there or something like that, and then they have one of us opening up for them. That gives a chance for the original people to say, hey, this is a really good band. It sounds like Van Halen or Ozzy. And then, hey, I get the chance, and then vice versa. This local band's not that bad either, so opportunity.
So that's
opportunity.
That's what we've been actually trying to do in our promoting. And we started talking about this about a year and a half ago about street teaming, right? So like old school, you would go out and you would just plaster the place with flyers because there would always be an audience there no matter what.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if there was live music, there would be a crowd because they didn't have the internet, and they wanted live music, and that's what they'd do. They were into it and they would go out and see it. So you had a built-in audience that you could gain fans from, right? And we don't have that anymore. So we talk about street teaming, right? And exactly going along with what you're saying is like, it would be perfect for like, a Land of Oz or a tribute band like Van Halen Nation, right? To get somebody who's rock, right? Because people who are going to see them like rock. right? So it only opens their eyes to like some local music, right? So we went while Stryper was playing to Landis, and we set up a whole booth, giant thing, and we gave raffle tickets to every last person who walked through the door. They could win CDs, they could win shirts, they could win 2 free tickets to the show, front row, and everybody responded really, really well. Lots of people walked out of there with CDs that night. A couple people actually even hit us up the next day, going back to our prior conversation, and said, I was extremely surprised. I didn't know what to expect from you guys by looking at your CD cover and talking to you guys and so on and so forth. You have gained a fan. I love your songs. They tell stories just like the old time rock and roll did, you know, like back from the 80s and 90s, you know, and it was like really just, it was a very nice message, right? But that's what we have to do is we have to go talk to people one-on-one, and we have to try to engage them and say, listen, just listen to us. We have business cards and postcard size cards with QR codes on them that takes, all you have to do is click on the QR code of your phone. It takes you right to all of our music, everything. You get to listen to us. It's like, listen to us at your own convenience, man. If you like this band that's playing in here right now, you'll like us. You know what I mean? Give us a shot. Doesn't have to be right now. Put this in your wallet, man. Check it in a couple days. And we've got a lot of really good response for that. You know, we're going to be at the Lynch Mob show tomorrow night doing the same thing. We're going to be there for the Land of Oz doing the same thing. And we're just trying to gain followers, man. We'll stand out in like the the parking lot of like the Freedom Mortgage Pavilion while like Godsmack and Shinedown is playing and do the exact same thing. We'll blast our music through like a little speaker. We'll have our backdrop, up, and we'll just be talking to people and handing them cards, man. They're like, all right, cool, I'll check it out. You can gain so much from that. Just even one person listening. That's all I care about. So,
Mickey, you have anything on Spotify?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or any of those streaming services?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're on pretty much all the streaming services that are out there. Our whole album's on Spotify. So.
Yep. Yeah. It's I like the guerrilla warfare kind of tactic with that's old school promoting, man. And guess what?
Yep.
Even if somebody don't go home listening to something, they're going to remember that guy in that van, or whatever the deal was. They're going to remember something. So there'll be some kind of memorable thing there, which is great.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, man. Because too many of us, either, nobody makes the time, or we want to go here and we want to go there. We don't make it there. And I mean, you guys give credit that you guys show up, you guys put it out there. Yeah. And, it's the way to do it, really, to be honest with you. You're doing it right,
Yeah. Well, like, look, man, everybody's been gawking about this, like Gene Simmons thing that he wrote an article or something about how the music industry is dead. There's no avenue anymore for local music to become bigger, with all the streaming apps and everything else. And you're caught in this like matrix of other bands doing the exact same thing and blah, blah. And there is really no industry where there's A&R guys coming out and like seeking out bands anymore and giving you guys, front money, and, you're going to be riding around with champagne and, party girls and stuff. It's not that way anymore,
Yeah.
And so the question is like, so why do we do it? And why we do it is for a labor of love. You know what I mean? Because you guys are artists and you can't not do it.
Right. Like I said, I quit 1,000 times in my head. It just never happened.
Me too. Yeah, I quit once a week.
Yeah, it's the sickness we have, Mick.
Yeah, and you spend thousands and thousands of dollars, right, every year, and you spend countless hours like honing your craft and working together as a band and a unit and writing music and recording it, and there's just like no avenue to really make it bigger. So it's frustrating. So like when you're trying to put on a really good show in the area and stuff, and you're just banging your head up against the wall, just trying to sell tickets,
Yeah.
I told the other bands that, that are playing this bill with the students, like, listen, man, don't be afraid to don't just put out like, here's our next show, catch us there, and put out the link. Don't be afraid to say, hey man, we need your help. We need your guys' support. You know what I mean? Like we put our blood, sweat and tears into this, and but none of it matters if you guys aren't here or if you're not listening. It doesn't make sense. They are the food that feeds us, man. And feeds the energy of us playing live, like playing to an empty room, man. Why are we doing it?
And the thing
Right.
that people got to look at, whether it's a like on Facebook, whether it's a share, whether it's a like on the YouTube page, even with the podcast stuff, or a band, at this point, it costs nothing to share or listen to. It costs nothing to take a listen to.
Or just to hit like so it stays
Yeah.
in someone's feed. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just-
correct.
It all helps. It all helps.
that's why I like doing the stories sometimes, like the Facebook or Instagram stories, because you could see everyone who
Okay.
Peek at it.
who
Yeah.
saw the thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, come on, man. If I'm scrolling past something real quick, I'm just going to hit like. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
people don't know it's something that simple could actually. you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
just
it's
help,
like
you know?
it's like I have a bunch of people come to me, oh yeah, we heard the band sounds great. I'm like, well, I posted a video and fucking 2 people liked it, and they're like, no, we all seen it. I'm like, well, it's okay to hit like. Don't feel funny to hit
Yeah.
like. It's all
Yeah.
right.
And share it.
and share it.
And
Yeah.
maybe say, hey man, you know, if you've never heard these guys, why don't you give them a listen? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's the main problem, and what we were just talking about as we become ghosts. You know, like the internet has made us lazy, and it's made our attention span zero. You know,
Oh, yeah.
legends can't be born anymore, right? How were legends born back when like they didn't have the internet? You know, they got on a radio station and the word got around, and then some people from out of town saw them and started bringing it to the next town, saying, you got to see this guy, you know, Jimi Hendrix, or, you know, like we're talking like legends, right? Big legends, right? It can't happen anymore, right? Because people are so like attention span like zero, right? So it's like, oh, did you see this guy? You got to check this band out. They're really good. It's like they watch for like 15 seconds and go, oh, no, they're good. But check this band out. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me show you this guy. Right.
No, it's
and like,
true.
Then it's, you know, you wind up in a YouTube hole and you're like watching fucking kitten videos. You know what I mean? And like our attention spans are zero, man. And like people can't sit still and just watch a 3.5, 4 minute video that you've put your life into. You know, and that's
right.
That's the shame. I mean, you want to talk about as we become ghosts, there it is right there. You know, it's a shame, man. You know?
You're absolutely right. Mike D, you got a question for Mickey?
Yeah, Mick. What medium of music do you prefer to listen to? And what's the last thing you listen to?
Okay. That's really good question. Spa music. Yeah, that's what I listen to like in the morning, man, when I'm drawing and getting ready for my clients that I'm about to tattoo. We have a beautiful shop, my wife and I. We have a beautiful tattoo shop called Twin Flame Artistry. And you walk in and it's like a Zen spa, man. It's like awesome. So, but I run the gamut, man. I listen to everything, you know, that's such a cliche answer. I know, you know, I listen to everything. You know, but
I was kind of meaning like CD or like a 8-track or cassette tape I'm like big into vinyl right now. So
yeah, my wife and I are also like we're really into vinyl, and we'll go out like you know, occasionally, you know, once a month or whatever, and we'll go to some record stores and we'll buy a bunch of old stuff that, you know, we go over to the record museum or places like that, and we go over and, you know, buy up a bunch of records. And we like to sit around on Sundays, you know, and stuff like that, and like just play, you know, spin vinyl. But yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of different stuff, man. And the last thing I was listening to is listening to spa music all day, you know, just really Zen kind of chill music.
Chill music, yeah.
I love when we start talking about like, you know, what I really dig, you know, I even dig a bunch of like 80s new wave stuff. You know, and I
guess what, man?
Kind of add that flair or that vibe into our you know, recordings and our stuff. You know,
Mick, it's funny because like I kind of like avoided the 80s music altogether, that kind of like synth and stuff like that. And it's like
I did back then.
Yeah, and now I'm kind of going back and I'm listening to something like, wow, I'm like, this is really good,
right?
Like stuff like I don't know, like Oingo Boingo take for instance. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you find some gems, like if you go back and look in different genres and you know, stuff you might not even have like thought to listen to before. Just check it out,
dude. I'm telling you, you're gonna laugh, but I don't mind disco. I went back. I was listening to disco.
Yeah,
I don't mind
love
it.
disco.
I don't mind.
I love some disco.
I've always loved it.
I hated it back in the 80s growing up, and now it's like I'm listening. I'm like, wow, you know what?
Yeah.
This is pretty
Disco,
good.
Funk. I'm loving the funk stuff
Mhm.
and like something that's totally out of my box. I'm like, this is not what I can listen to, but I'm fucking really digging it. I think I guess as people who write songs and play and all that stuff, you get to the point where like, okay, I love Metallica. They're one of my favorite bands, but today I don't, you can't always listen to that. I feel a little funkified. You know what I mean? Let me listen to some P-Funk or
Yeah.
something. It's good to
Yeah,
switch it
very-
up. It's good to switch it up because there's nothing that drives me more nuts than you find a musician and they just listen to this. I don't understand it. How could you not? It's like when somebody tells me, I don't like the Beatles. I'm like, man, how could you not like the Beatles or respect at least with it's how could you
At
not?
least respect them. Yeah.
Yeah, how can you be a songwriter and not respect them? I'm not the biggest Stones fans, but I'm not the biggest Stone fan, but they're great. They built a thing. They're great, and I like them more than I probably think I like them because I know all the songs. I'm like, and I like every song I hear, but I never consider myself a big Stones fan. But I probably like them a lot more than I thought.
Oh, yeah. Hey, check this out. Speaking of the Beatles, right? Like, and I always used to look back, and I love the Beatles. I love their whole catalog, But I always thought Ringo Starr was just kind of like not a real tasty drummer, just kind of like sit back and it like not real talented, right?
Right.
This is my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Todd Zuckerman, the drummer for the Styx, put out this video, and it was like his top favorite drummers or whatever. And Ringo Starr was one of his favorite drummers, and the way he explained it opened my eyes and my ears to a whole new experience with them. That they wrote 300 songs in 8 years. If you think about that,
Yeah.
I thought they're, you think about them and, from their like bowl haircuts when they first came out with Yeah. And, going on to Sergeant Pepper's, and then they're like hippies hanging out with like, gurus. And so, I mean, just right. Like you would think they were around for 40 years. Right. And they went through all these different stages. They went through all those stages in 8 years.
Is that crazy?
And when you really listen to their stuff, it is like, I mean, even with 4-track recording and stuff, like they were masters, like, and the producers and engineers at Abbey Road stuff were just amazing, right? But he had to come up with drum parts to 300 different songs,
yeah.
right? And the way Todd Zuckerman explained it says, he played a song and he goes, there is nothing else that would have actually worked in this song except for exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And it made me really start thinking about it. I was like, wow. And I'm going back, Mike, same thing, man. Like back in the 80s, I was that guy, early 80s, I was that guy, Al, where I just listened to one thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I barely listened to anything because I was just like, we're writing our own music and I don't want to be tainted by anything. And this is what I'm doing. And I look back now, I heard like a song the other day that I've heard probably for like 40 years, right? And I listened to the words for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is so freaking good.
Yeah.
Like I never really listened to the words of that song. I never really knew what that meant, crazy. But yeah, we look back and like the 80s stuff and the 80s, even new wave that I was talking about. And The Cure or like bands that I just never paid attention to back then.
Right. Like rediscovering
wow, really good.
Yeah, I was watching Mick, and since you said that about Ringo, I was maybe a few months ago. I was watching this one video that's debunking Ringo as a bad drummer, and this I forget what song it was, but this guy's like, look, he's like, I'm a drummer. He's like, you might think he's doing this rhythm and it's just repetitive. He's like, he's doing it the whole song and it never breaks. He keeps the timing. It's like
tough.
You try doing that one, simple beat that you think is simple through a whole 3.5 minute song and see how simple it is.
It's tough.
Like,
Right.
His fills were always different in each song at the same part. Each verse, he always played a different fill. He would do different things like your as a drummer, your right hand is your dominant one. He was left-handed, but he played right-handed. So his dominant hand was left-handed, was his left, and a lot of things it was like unconventional, like what you heard. Like he would do things differently because he was left-handed. And
like, come on, look at Come Together. That's freaking great.
It's a cool rhythm. Yeah,
He's definitely he's underrated, I guess, because the other three are so out there in front of you, especially the two are so out there in front of you that Ringo's like he's the fourth guy. But guess what? It's like saying Kiss back in the day. Without Peter Criss, it wouldn't be the same band. Same thing with the Beatles. It wouldn't be the same band with a different drummer.
Yeah.
Well, they had a drummer before Ringo.
Pete Best. Yeah, Pete Best. Yeah.
Everybody remembers Pete Best.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think it was just because like he was such a pretty boy and got so much attention. But he wasn't Ringo. He wasn't doing what they needed him to really do. And like it was because of Ringo and his parts that he was able to throw that stuff together and keep their songs together. Did you watch that like 3-part series on Beatles?
Yes, I did.
When they created the album in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then played a show.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's amazing. You know what I mean? That's amazing stuff. And another drummer wouldn't fit. Like we talk about like simplicity of drums or complexity of drums, and we go back to like the old AC/DC stuff, speaking of Todd Zuckerman one more time, he would say he used to teach master classes. He still does. Right. And a bunch of people would sign up for his drum master class. And the first thing he would come out and do is play Back in Black. And he goes, once you guys master that, then we can like, then we can move on. Yeah. And let's like, what do you mean master that? It's like, when you can play that simplistic beat as teethy as they played that beat, you know what I'm saying? Mm. Like that is not easy. That's not easy to do.
Yep.
So a good solid drummer, man, is like, can play to a click track, but still humanize it to the point where it feels like it's got groove and bite to it. I mean, you can play that beat and it just be stagnant as hell.
Well, even if you're a guitar player, and we have a song or two that's like this, where it's constant, like there's this constant like layering part over the top, and it's the same thing for a while. It's hard to keep that steady. It's got to because you're picking hand and you're moving hand. It's tough. I mean, I play a little bit of each thing, but I don't play nothing really good enough to play. I can come up with a little idea, but I'm not good enough to play. So for me, I'm amazed at how many people play instruments and how well they play them. Like it blows me away. And then if you sing and play, it fucking really blows me away because it's hard to do either one, let alone both, because your mind's doing two different things at once. You know what I mean? So like it's and you do both. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like or a guy like Mustaine. Mustaine's playing his intricate guitar part and he's singing like right. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're not normal lyrics either. It's like they're just kind of like. It's his own thing.
Yeah, It works.
I've never thought of myself like people blow me away every day. I watch somebody. I'm like, oh my god, like
crazy,
that's just like I couldn't do that. I'm not a musician's musician, man. You know what I mean? Like
you are a songwriter though. Definitely,
I'm a songwriter.
You know how to write songs.
I can pick up any instrument, even an instrument I've never played before, and I can write a song on it.
You can write a song,
make it sound good, and write something to it. But I can't just sit in with jam bands. You know what I mean? I just can't do it, Like, dude, I'm not that kind of musician, but
me neither. Guess what? Me neither. Like all the cover band, I'm friends with a ton of cover band. I'm not a cover band guy. I just can't. I'm more of a character singer, I guess. I can't, I don't sound like Robert Plant. I sound like I sound, I might sound familiar here and there, but I just do what I do. I have no fucking clue. I just do what I do, and it don't sound familiar from influences, but I have no clue. I just run with the ball and see what happens,
Right.
But as far as, like I said, songwriting goes, me and Steve Tabilio talk about this all the time. Making, we talk about guys who there's a lot of good players, doesn't mean everybody can write a song. You're one of the guys that could write a song. There's a couple real good ones out there, and there's a difference. A guy could be a great player, great singer. I always used to say something, oh, this guy from this cover band's great. I'm like, awesome. Can he write a song?
Right.
Just like I can't sing Robert Plant. So it's a whole different beast. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, okay, Mick, we're going to move on to, before we do, I want you to plug your show at the Landis for us. Tell us where we can get tickets, the date, the time, all that stuff, who's opening up, and then we're going to go into 10 stupid questions after that.
Oh, man, not the 10 stupid questions.
Yeah, they're stupid, too.
All right. We're playing at the Landis Theater, Saturday, October 14th, 8 p.m. We have two really, really awesome bands, and we like to mix it up, So we got a band called Venture Out. They're kind of like 311, Incubus-ish sounding with a girl singer. Mm-hmm. So a little reggae kind of rock kind of sound going on there. And we have a band called the Dead Flowers, and they're kind of like on a bluesy vibe and some sort of like, man, it's really hard hard to kind of put them in a certain category, you know, but they're like got a lot of stage energy, these guys, you know. It's like when Alex first, you know, proposed, like we get him open, you know, I was checking him out, you know, and I was like, these guys can blow us off the stage like really, really easily. And it's like, good, book them. You know what I mean? Perfect. It's gonna make us work harder.
That's the move.
Yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting show. It's gonna be really, really fun. And you can get tickets at thelandistheater.com or etix, which you had that, Albert. What was that?
Yeah, www.etix.com.
And then when you're on there, you just gotta, you know, type
I'll post
in your
it
name
up.
and it pops up. I checked it out earlier.
Yeah. But I did check out both bands. Both bands were really good. Cause I did, you know, I was like, I'm gonna see who's opening up for them. So I did check out both bands, and they both were really, really good. Both different, both good. And the girl singer was a nice little element with the first band that you mentioned. What was the first band called?
Venture Out.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was pretty good. She's got a voice on her. She's definitely got a voice on her.
Yeah, they're just getting some some quick recordings together, just so like people can hear them and all that kind of stuff. But we figured we'd give them a shot, throw them up there, and you know, see what happens.
Sounds good.
We like them.
As We Become Ghost, October 14th at the Landis Theater. Get your tickets online, etix.com, or you can go to the Landis Theater site. I'm sure you can get tickets there. It's going to be a good show. And now, Nick, we are going to move on to 10 stupid questions. You're flying solo here, Mick. The rest of the guys couldn't make tonight. You're flying solo. So let's say hi to Stefan, Johnny Callahan. I always say his name wrong. John, it's Callahan, right?
Callan.
Fuck. I'm sorry, John.
Stefan Gregor.
Stefan Gregor,
Johnny Callan, and Alex Fizz.
Yep. So hopefully them guys will be listening and checking it out. We're going to be there to support you. And here goes 10 stupid questions with Mickey Ratt. Mick, first one. Last movie you watched?
Oh, God.
Like, I don't watch TV.
Oh, The Machine.
Okay.
Bert Kreischer, The Machine.
Okay, that's like a comedy, right? It's on Netflix now. I didn't watch it yet. I heard it was good.
Funny, yeah. It's really, really stupid, but you know, if you know the story of The Machine, then you get it.
Yeah. I that's on my list to watch. It is. What's a better combination, chocolate and peanut butter or chocolate and mint?
Chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, that's everybody's go-to. What food do you refuse to eat?
Seafood. I'm allergic.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Here goes a tricky one for you, Mick. Bad album from a great band.
Ooh, Metallica.
There you go. You took Saint the loads. Saint Anger. Oh, there you go. Saint Anger. Yeah. It's the mix.
I don't know what Bob Rock was thinking with that snare drum.
I know. You know what though? If you listen to that album though, and you give it a listen, it's got some really like great songs on there.
The drums, it's the drums.
I'll go back and give it a listen because you told me to, Mike.
But the production, that's the only reason. I agree. But
the production, you know,
if you really listen, man, it has some really like great stuff going on. It's like I wish it was produced better, but you know, I can see that. That's a good pick.
You know, that's had to be what they were shooting for because Bob Rock is huge. You know, he produces huge. So you know, the Lars or somebody was like, we wanted to sound like a garage, and we're like, you know, so it's hard to get past that drum sound for me.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. I mean, the snare drum is just brutal.
It's
it's
rough.
Hard on the ears.
Yep.
But deep down in there, man, there's a great album.
Oh, there's definitely good songs in there. It's just it's hard to hear.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I just had to come up with an answer. So
that's good.
No, that's a good one. I thought I was involved in this. I was going to say Chinese Democracy.
I like that record. I like that record.
That only took 19 to 20 years to write.
Awesome. Okay, so if you had your choice to go dancing or karaoke, what would you do?
Wow. I would have to choose dance, and I don't dance.
Nice. That's good. I love it. All right. This was initially to debate Alex in a little bit, but I'll let you answer. We already know what Alex's answer is probably going to be, but Randy Rhoads or Eddie Van Halen?
Randy Rhoads. That's a really hard question because they're both two different things for me, but Randy Rhoads is, and that's why Alex is in the band. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. Okay. If you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be?
Oh, man.
That's a great name right there. Oh man.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to pass on that, man. I can't even think of one.
I think I went under.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Do you have
He's
an
not going to
answer?
strip for us, is he?
He might. We'll come up with something on the spot.
He's getting the poll out.
That'd be awesome.
My beautiful wife Linda has just chimed in, and she says tripod.
There you go. That works. That'll bring them in.
I would be the most crooked kickstand in the world, man. I'd be the shortest kickstand in the world.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
think when we did this for us three, because we answered this before, I think I was beef Wellington. Mike D was like bare naked, and Damien was Ziggy Snaggletooth. I have no clue, but they were the three we went with. So we're adding
And
tripod.
I'm sure
to
I
the
had a
list.
funny answer for this exact question one time in my life.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
We've
I
all
can't
thought about it.
remember if I ate breakfast this morning. You know what I mean?
Okay, so next one, Slayer or Striper?
Striper.
Nice, going for the melodies. Okay, have you ever tried oxtail?
Oxtail. What is that?
It's
I guess that's your answer.
yeah, it's
There you go.
the
No.
tail of the ox. I never had it, but I heard it's kind of big. But I never had it.
No, I've never had oxtail. Is there a
Okay.
place that serves it close by?
It might be like soul food. I think a lot of soul food places have, but I don't think I had much soul food either.
I would try that.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't know.
make a pact right now.
Yeah.
We're making a pact right now.
We're all going to try oxtail.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
One day we will try oxtail.
And we'll have to come. We have to come on the show and do it. We all eat it at the same time and tell us what
Same
what we
time.
think. We can do that. Oh man. Okay, last one for you, Nick. What actor would you be casting to play you in a movie based on your life?
Based on my life, who would I
Yep.
choose? Eric Stoltz.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer, man.
Forever.
Good actor.
I'm just
Good actor.
thinking Mask and stuff like that.
Ah,
you know.
no, but he's a
Oh,
good
Pulp
actor.
Fiction.
Pulp
Thinking
Fiction
some
is great in Pulp Fiction.
redhead dude. No.
So,
No.
Mick, fantastic interview tonight, man. I love that you were letting some stuff loose. It was great. Really, really good
Thanks,
stuff, man. As We Become Ghosts, you can get them on Spotify. You can get them on any digital platform. Also, you could go to their website. Is it aswebecomeghosts.com?
Yes.
Okay, go to their website. You can get merch. They have CDs, T-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, and all that kind of good stuff. Hats. It's
We have
getting-
cardigans.
Yeah, yeah.
Turtleneck
Don't discriminate. We got
sweaters.
cardigans.
You can get anything. I think they even have a
Half
flask
shirts.
on there. They even got a flask I think you could get. So yeah, man. So go to aswebecomeghosts.com, get some merch, show some support. These guys just hooked me up with a shirt the other day. I'm going to definitely wear it soon. Hopefully my fat ass could fit into it, but I think I could now, which would be good. I think I can fit. I tried it on. I'm pretty good, I think. At least I think I am. Landis Theater, October 14th, As We Become Ghosts. Get your tickets online, etix.com, or go to the Landis Theater site and check it out. Mickey, thank you so much. Tell the rest of the guys we said hello.
We'll do.
Good seeing you, man.
See you
Will
soon,
do.
Mick. Thank you so
Take
much,
care,
man.
Mickey.
Have a good
As
night.
long as we are one, we will overcome.
There you go. Sounds good, brother. Have a good night.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.